Yo, what is going on, guys? Godrekton here, and today I am here and happy to announce that I finally created my ultimate Renekton Bible, which includes everything you need to know to master Renekton. This has been a guide that I've been trying to make for up to 2 years. Originally, my whole idea of making this spreadsheet was essentially to make a matchup style spreadsheet, which just includes basically all of Renekton's basic matchups. However, after sadly losing my data over a year ago and not exactly finishing my spreadsheet, I decided to retake my idea of making a Renekton guide, but instead changing it from a matchup only sheet to instead a complete Bible of everything you need to know when it comes to playing Renekton. So, where do we begin? Because this guide I've made right here, I've spent 3 months literally making. Every single day, of any time that I have dedicated it towards making this guide. And with all that said as well, I'm sorry to also announce that obviously I did take quite a big hiatus from making videos and from also being able to stream, but honestly, I had to take this time to do this because for me, I just wanted to make something for you guys because you guys in the Renekton men's community are the most awesome people there is. Like, you guys have done nothing but support my videos for over the years. You guys have constantly been around my streams. You guys have, helped me really find a place in this community in League of Legends, and I'm really thankful for all the people that have stuck with me since day one. And, this whole project was basically something I wanted to provide you guys back because I think there really hasn't been any giant style guides like this, and I wanted to really fulfill something within the Renekton mains and top lane community in this project where I simply mentioned everything you need to know. Like, I have literally dedicated so much time to make sure that this is the best guide you can possibly have when it comes to Renekton. If there's anything that I haven't included, if there's anything that you guys want to see more of, I'll be happy just to simply, add it into the guide at a later date. And to be sure that, I keep updating it as well through every major change that happens through the spreadsheet. But yeah, with that being said, there's a lot to really go over, but I'm not going to make this a giant video because I do want you guys to also just read it and take from it what you will, because ultimately this guide is just about like my whole way that I play Renekton. It's about my 12 years of also studying Renekton and playing Renekton from a master to challenger level. I have watched many people such as Romanium, Panther2, Trollnekton, Nerif, Yu Zhaoyu, 3-in-1. Like, there's so many amazing, great Renekton players that I've watched over the years that a lot of their play styles and the way they've played the game and thought about various things have really, taken a direct approach towards how I've written my notes, as well as what I also consider being pretty decent on Renekton. So this whole guide is also a homage to all the great Renekton players that I've watched over the years. And I really, want to thank all those great people as well for teaching me various things, as well as also providing me really great gameplay over the years. So obviously, with that taken into account, I have really put everything into this guide. 3 hard months, I really tried as much as I can to make the ultimate Renekton guide. And I personally believe that this is the best guide you are going to see when it comes to any champion. Like, I have took Fogged, by the way, his previous spreadsheet that he made many years ago into consideration when making this, that I wanted a spreadsheet that would include literally everything, as well as RTOs too, which was an original pioneer when it come to making a spreadsheet for Renekton. And being that we haven't really made one in all these years, I did want to take that mantle and try to provide anyone that is new to Renekton to have a database to learn various aspects about the champion, as well as also providing many Renekton veterans just a database that can include new things they have not tried, that could potentially shake up their gameplay and make them find something new to like about Renekton. But yeah, with that being said, let's actually get into the guide. So, this is the first page of many. This is my introduction page where I just basically talk about myself. I talk about what you're basically able to view through the spreadsheet. I also include how to use the spreadsheet as well, because there's a lot of information here, guys. Like, I have literally gone over as many things as I can. Obviously, through this guide, Control F is going to be your best friend when it comes to looking at this. If there's anything you want to know, whether it's Q cancels, if it's a certain matchup like Olaf, if it's a strategy like W max, whatever it is, simply use Control F on the keyboard and simply type in the keyword of your choice and the result will appear within the box. So obviously that is mainly the essential way of how to use a spreadsheet, as well as also clicking these bottom tabs over here, which we'll get into. Also below that as well, we also have my content here, which I will upload to YouTube. I will also stream on Twitch again after I make this video. I think I'm going to officially come back on Wednesday or Thursday when it comes to streaming, but I'll have to see. I also have a TikTok too that I'm going to be trying to post towards. And I also have an amazing community in my Discord, which you guys can join and ask me any questions that you want. Now, if any of you guys do also want to support my work and just my overall motivation to keep you know, I mean, I'm not going to ask you guys for money or anything like that, but if you guys want to support my work and you guys want to make sure that, like, you know, I'm motivated to keep this going, I would highly appreciate if anyone wants to donate towards my work. It is much appreciated, but also not needed. And obviously below that as well, we do have a update tab, which will obviously include various updates from many dates that will basically show any changes. Like, for instance, one thing I have not finished off, which I will just clarify real quickly, is the fact that I've not finished certain champion summaries. This became more of a later idea that I wanted to add, and because I keep adding new things every single day, I simply just thought, you know, this is my deadline, I need to get this out today, so I'm still going to be updating my champion summaries if some of them are missing, so don't think that I've deliberately left them just to be empty. I will work on that on the days after I release this, so I just want you guys to also know that too. So anyways, what do our pages actually include when it comes to this guide? So here we have our FAQ, which is basically just like any, you know, questions that people might ask me, or anything that might also be related towards the guide or Renekton itself. So I make sure to go over the most popular questions here. That can include things such as why did I make this guide, who this guide is for, what I'm going to add in the future, and also how often I'll update the guide. Obviously as well, Renekton style questions are always asked within my streams or in my comment section of my social media videos. So obviously I include a lot of these things here too, like why did I start playing Renekton, what makes me keep playing Renekton, why play Renekton, etc, etc. Like there's just so many things here that you guys can read over that I highly recommend as well. So make sure to check over these, try and answer your questions from that. If you guys have any additional questions that are pretty frequent, I can also include it here in the FAQ section. Next, we have the Renekton runes. So here basically is me going over all the potential runes you can use. Now, I already did make a rune and build guide video. So obviously, I do reference the fact that you can watch the video if you haven't already, as this basically will help you kind of understand all the minor runes and what's, you know, what to take or what's good, what's bad. I didn't want to like entirely include all of them here because I kind of thought like, you know, I've already done that. So that's basically the reason why I don't have some of these things, if you're wondering. But I do also include things like PTA and Conqueror, which I have a video about. But also do go over every like individual thing about it, like the strengths, the weaknesses, Conqueror's strengths and weaknesses, and the conclusion. So there are some little things here too that, you know, are once again popular questions that people don't know within the community. So overall as well, you can just check over this and just simply understand when to use PTA or Conqueror. Following on from that, we have the rune setups, which include various different runes with certain different minor rune changes and stuff like that, and basically the whole thought process of what actually goes into taking these. We have a lot of pages here. We have PTA, we have Conquer, we have Inspiration, Electrocute, Grasp. Obviously, some things include different playstyles compared to some others, and I do talk about each of them and like their purposes into the game. Following on, we have the Renekton summoner choices. This is essentially a topic that I haven't really talked about when it comes to Renekton. So here within this tab, we basically have many different things as well, explaining Ignite strengths, weaknesses, the conclusion, teleports, strengths and weaknesses. And then we also have many other summoners too, like Flash, Ghost, Exhaust. These basically are other little like, you know, lesser things needed to know about. But however, they do provide the user with additional information that can definitely help people in being able to take them into certain situations. Next, we have the items and builds. Guys, like I'm telling you, I have made basically everything you need to know of Renekton, you know? Borrowing a few little things, but I'm going to get onto that towards the end of the video. So here we have the build guide. So again, you can watch this out if you want to see more of the items that aren't talked about. However, I do talk about item starts. I'll talk about matchups that these are good into, such as Doran's Shield, Doran's Blade, and whether or not both of them work within the matchup. So we have a lot of different champions here in each column. Following on from that, we have item tier lists too, in which I go into many different details about. That basically consists of why the items are good for Renekton, and obviously through any changes that are made from now to next season, I will constantly update this page as well to make sure that it has all the relevant information that you need to know. Obviously as well, we have the A tier, we have B tier, C tier, and obviously D tier as well. Have to have a D tier. Yeah, there are going to be some items here that maybe some people will disagree with me with, but obviously I do have a reason for that. So obviously if you guys like a certain item or a playstyle, you know, there is no right or wrong way of playing. This is just simply my opinion on what I think is like, you know, best for Renekton based on my gameplay experience and watching other people. So again, try everything that you want to, but do note that certain things are going to be better than others for the reasons that I listed. Obviously, once I explained all these items, I did talk about boot choices as well with the same concept in mind. And I also have various different Renekton builds as infographics that people can also look into when it comes to wanting to learn more about Renekton. And with that being said, moving on to ability starts and ability maxes, this is also a frequent topic that a lot of people don't really know what to do when it comes to Renekton, because a lot of people are always asking me, oh, when do I go W max? Or when do I start E? When do I start Q? And being that there's no real information or video about it, I thought I'd just include it here because obviously it's a, pretty popular topic right now. So with that said, we have the reasons on why to start Q start, W, E start. All these things go into detail here about when to take them level 1 and what certain situations they're good into. Next as well, we have top lane ability starts. We have mid lane ones, basically detailing certain matchups and things where I take certain ability maxes, obviously with some situational ones too, where I talk about some counter skill ones. Again, I'm kind of like already forward planning into the potential matchups you're going to be playing against, what you're going to be taking Q or W into, or when you have to basically change your start depending on the enemy start. Like, I've included all that, so a lot of things, basically, a lot of things. Next, we have the ability max order too, where I talk about Q max and W max, as this is quite a popular topic as well. So here it's going to list everything you need to know about doing either of them. Following on from that, we have the top lane ability max matchups in a tier list, and we also have the mid lane ability maxes. So I've decided to go over every individual lane here, or like the main ones, of course, with the desired ability maxes, which some matchups also do change and vary depending on the lane size as well. So obviously top lane matchups is going to be more W max matchups compared to mid lane, where there's going to be less of a roster to be able to abuse W max. That's basically a difference there if you're curious. Next, we have the mechanics and combos. So here we basically detail all the potential mechanics and animation cancel combos that Renekton can do. So this includes things like auto cancels, item cancels, if it's like we're going down, Q buffering on Renekton, flash interactions, Q cancels, you name it, rune interactions. I included everything you need to know here, guys. Like literally, like this whole spreadsheet is made to stand the test of time, right? So any little changes or things that are made, I'm going to be changing it. And as of right now, this is basically everything that you need to know. So definitely go over every individual tab here, because there's going to be a lot of information here to take in when it comes to learning all the various things about Renekton. And obviously here too, we have combos. I made this a long time ago, so basically it's all the combos that you can do, which are still relevant today. So obviously make sure to also check out the combos if you want to learn any crazy cool combos towards your Renekton gameplay too, as well as also my favorite combos as well to use on Renekton. Once we've looked at mechanics and combos, I also decided to add Fury Management. Fury Management is another one of these like aspects to Renekton where a lot of people don't really fully understand the importance of it. But in my opinion, Fury Management is probably the most important thing you do need to know when it comes to mechanical ability, because trying to get your right empowered ability basically separates the casual Renekton player from one of the best Renekton players. Like the ability to get your empowered ability up at the right time or being able to keep your Fury up is a really gigantic advantage when it comes to playing Renekton. So obviously in this section here, we talk about what Fury is, the Fury generation that you're able to provide up to. We talk about potential combos, which I do relist here just to save people from going backwards and forwards. So, you're welcome if you care about that. Next, we do also have a tab on how we maintain Fury, because this is also another skill aspect towards keeping Fury as Renekton, helping you find more ways to be relevant within the game. So obviously I talk about all these individual aspects here and ways to also practice it. So if you guys want to also check that out, I highly recommend it. And I will also be making a Fury management guide as well, because I think it's definitely worth talking about as a video. So in the future, make sure to look out for a video here, because I will also be talking about it with many different examples within the video. And finally, the most amount of time I spent on this entire document is all here in my Renekton matchup spreadsheet. This basically took a large portion of my time, because not only did I talk about top lane matchups, I talked about, every matchup. That's right. I talked about 171, I think it's 171, champions total within the spreadsheet, due to the fact that, I want to go that extra mile when it comes to Renekton content. So I made sure as hell as to include everything you need to know. So we have the difficulty, we have the runes, the starting items, summoners, the ability max order, and obviously the matchup summary, which isn't fully complete on some champions because it's a new idea, as well as also having the detailed notes to help you break down the matchup. And eventually as well, when I'm finding video examples, I will include them here, Currently, I don't have any, but I do have obviously various matchups on my channel if you haven't watched already. Obviously, guys, if you made it this far in the video, I do recommend as well to, you know, just subscribe to the channel and also make sure to leave a comment below, because that obviously helps the algorithm for my videos to perform. And obviously, being that I do want to become a consistent content creator, it is going to help me a lot when it comes to making videos. So please make sure to subscribe. Please make sure to also comment like anything that you love the most about my guide or anything that you want in the future, because obviously it helps me out a lot too. But with that call to action established, let me just go over some of the notes, right? So obviously I do want the whole summary aspect here to kind of be like a quick way of people being able to look at some notes before going into a matchup. Like if you're a casual Renekton player, I want you to make sure that you can check over the summary and basically learn all the quick information that you need to know when it comes to learning about a matchup. But obviously, if you came out of the game, you had a rough matchup or something like that, you can also look at the detailed notes here to kind of help you understand what the main intricacies are of being able to win the matchup. For example, what abilities potentially start, what to do to counter a champion, what the waste state should be like, the quick, what kind of training plans you need to do, your when you should use your R. Like, I made sure to include everything as well as mid-game and team fighting tips, just to make sure that you guys can all feel directed towards, you know, having an idea of what to do in your matchup. So if you've never played against a Sona top lane, well, guess what? Control F, we're going to type Sona, and here we are. Wait, that's not Sona. Sorry about that. It might not always go to the right one, so that might be a little flaw here. But hey, we're learning, right? So we're on the Sona matchup now, so simply we go over to here, and we can just basically read like, level 1, we can take E-Start, we can kill a level 2 and 3, and obviously the main objective being like an easy matchup, we can abuse our early game pretty easily too. Now there are some little things here, like some gaps that I will need to fix obviously, so just ignore that, but the whole purpose obviously of having all these matchups is just basically to help you guys like figure out playstyles that you're not really accustomed to. So if there is like a weird matchup, just simply hit Control F and look for it here, and try and read the summaries before the game. Now again, some of them don't have summaries because I'm still in the process of finishing them off, while some of us do have them. So obviously give me a few more days after I release this, and I will try and complete them all before the next week. But yeah, moving on from the matchup sheet as well, we do also have a little coaching tab too. So if any of you guys are actually interested in any coaching sessions, obviously hit me up just from my Discord. So if you guys aren't in my Discord community, again, just click on the link below, which will be in my comment section, which will actually take you over to my Discord. So then if you want to, you know, coach or talk about individual things, obviously hit me up in DMs and we can negotiate what we want to learn from the sessions. But yeah, with all that said though, that is basically when it comes to my guide. So there's obviously a lot of things here. I know there's been a lot of talking in this video, and trust me, I'm very tired as well. I've been trying to work all day to try and finish this guide. So I hope you guys really appreciate it. This is basically everything you need to know when it comes to mastering Renekton. Now, I know some of you might also ask, do you have any plans to make any extra tabs? And yes, I do actually. I plan to make an early to mid-game and late-game tab, probably within the next few months, because I do want a little bit of a break from just working on my spreadsheet. But I think before that, I will try and make a guide-style video when it comes to these aspects towards Renekton. So make sure to obviously keep your eyes out on that, because obviously it's going to help you understand what to do in these stages in the game. But yeah, with that said, that is practically it. I hope you guys really enjoy this. You know, I've been working very hard to get this out for you guys. You know, it's been my absolute dream and goal the last 2 years to finish. So it's been a long time coming, and I finally feel relieved now to finally get out there and to show you guys, you know, an amazing guide like this. Like, again, I put a lot of effort into this, and I still will keep providing updates within every patch. So make sure to, you know, follow this from every patch. I'm going to be trying my best to keep it up to date, as, you know, it is also my goal to do so. So if there's any like little styles of feedback or things that you guys also want to see, make sure to also leave it in the comments below, because it is also going to help me just kind of make this into the best guide possible. And I do need your guys' help to also make this a possibility. But yeah, that is everything, guys. So thank you very much for watching this video. I know I spoke a lot, trust me. I didn't know how I wanted to go around with this video, but you know, here we are. I am back. I'm going to start trying to make content soon. So if you guys also want to check out my streams and check out my next big goal of getting towards Challenger, then I highly recommend you to watch the streams and hang out, because, you know, that is my next big goal, and I want you guys to be there while I hit it. You know, we're currently 550 LP, I think. I haven't really been playing much. I've just been kind of playing a few games a week. So yeah, if you guys want to join my journey, then please head over to my stream and, let's see what happens with it. But yeah, guys, hope you guys love this guide. I hope it's everything that you wanted. So with all that being said, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. So peace out and have a good one.